London is one of the busiest cities in the world, and with thousands of added visitors to the capital during the 2012 Olympic and Paralympics, the logistics industry knew it had to prepare in order to keep ahead of the Games. The Freight Transport Association worked hard to keep its members informed, whilst offering support throughout the event, as Managing Director of Policy and Communications James Hookham explains.
The working relationship with TfL was absolutely essential. We provided the channel for them to get the vital information our members needed out to the market so that our members knew what they had to do, knew what they couldn't do, and could make all the preparations they needed to in order to deliver during the Games.
One of the key contributors in delivering the 2012 Games whilst ensuring London kept moving was TfL, who worked closely with FTA. Commissioner at Transport for London is Peter Hendy.
It was tremendously important for us that the FTA got a message across to its members about planning for the Olympics, and we think it's been very successful. So successful, in fact, that the dog that didn't bark in this whole episode has been freight and logistics. And actually there have been no reports of pubs with no beer, hospitals with no blood, newspaper stands with no newspapers, and that's a terrific tribute to the FTA and its members.
Delivering to London is never an easy task for freight organisations. With the added restrictions introduced by LOCOG, great planning was required to ensure customers received their goods on time throughout the events. So how did those plans work when put into action? John Stowe is Distribution Director for NISA.
Well, for NISA, this is the culmination of a year's worth of planning between ourselves, DHL, using the Freight Transport Association and indeed Transport for London. It's a very complex plan, including all the work within NISA and including technological development. But for us, it was very successful. During the period, we delivered 99% service level to our members, so we're very pleased with the outcome. The partnership with DHL has always been very strong, and in fairness to the depot team here at Harlow, their flexibility, their dedication and their application has been absolutely superb. The new learning for us was actually using the DHL relationship to extend the involvement of the Freight Transport Association and TfL. That joint partnership has really helped us get the right information to the right people at the right time.
NISA works in partnership with DHL, who realised the importance of the impact the 2012 Games could have on the logistics industry throughout the summer months. But has it all been a success, and what lessons have been learnt along the Olympic route? Chief Executive at DHL is Graham Inglis.
In terms of the legacy for DHL, or the legacy for the industry, I think one of the great things was the way the industry came together, all of the stakeholders working together. And it was the industry, the FTA, CILT, the regulators, TfL, all working together with one aim. Now we need to keep that communication, that dialogue going.
A lot has been said of the legacy of the Olympics, but what will that be for FTA?
There are three things that we'll take away from this. One is a much better working relationship with Transport for London. They better understand the way logistics works, and they better understand the way it contributes to the London economy. There are some lessons we've all learned from the way we can make improvements to deliveries in London. I'm particularly pleased with the way that restrictions have now been mapped onto a central website so we can understand exactly what we can and can't do. And perhaps the most enduring idea is taking forward nighttime deliveries and working very closely with London boroughs. There were several trials during the period of the Games. I hope they can continue going forward.
Drivers on a daily basis have many hurdles to cross, including daily congestion like this. Add to this the complications of Olympic route networks and Games lanes, and it was obvious that planning was key, as was working in partnership. And that's the legacy that the Freight Transport Association will be carrying forward after the Olympics and Paralympic Games. Julie Maddox reporting for the FTA.